What's up, gamers? And I'm sure you want to know what the 3 best free-to-play teams in Honkai Star Rail are. We're going to be going over all those teams today, so let me first by stating the criteria of these teams, because I don't want to just throw a team at you and be like, it's not free-to-play, so there are criteria of this team. So for all of these teams today, we're only going to be using a max of 1 signature 5-star character, and we're going to be only using a max of 1 signature 5-star light cone, if even I use one on the team at all. So that's really the main criteria for this team. Eidolons also do take a pretty big part in this team as well. We'll be going over the Eidolons that you want for each of these teams later on in the video. So we're gonna have 3 different teams today where you can honestly bring this into Apocalyptic Shadow, Memory of Chaos, and even Pure Fiction with some of these teams. And before we hop into team number 1, guys, if you enjoy videos like this, please hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Zenless Zone Zero is coming out soon. I'm sure I'll do a video like this for that as well. So gamers, let's go ahead and hop into team number 1 now, which is an Acheron team. Well, not necessarily an Acheron team, just a debuff team in general. You don't have to run Acheron here. Like I said earlier, we'll mention other options for all of these teams as well. So let me move my fat ass head down to the corner so you can actually see the gameplay of this team. Now guys, I know I'm putting on showcase here Acheron, right? Now, the reason I have Acheron here is just because of the fact she plays so well with just other debuff units. She gives herself so many free stats just from having other debuff units on the team. That means the build for her doesn't have to be as good as the build for, say, like some other DPS in the game, right? You're getting a lot of free stats just by having other characters of the Inhility class on the same team. Now, as far as this team goes, it's going to be Acheron, Pela, Gwynaifin, and Mr. Gallagher. Now, this team is going to work really well because, first of all, Pela offers Defense Shred, and Defense Shred is really going to enable Acheron to do even more amounts of damage. On top of this, if you're running Pela with Pearls of Sweat Light Cone, you're getting an extra defense shroud from her basic attack, meaning she can give you a debuff from her basic attack, skill, and ultimate attack. This means all parts of her kit give a debuff, which help out Acheron in getting her ult. Gwynaifin is on the team as well, and I'm sure you noticed this. Gwynaifin honestly is one of my favorite characters in the game. While she might not be the best in any field there is in the game, she is a jack of all trades, and you can honestly run her on a lot of teams. First of all, she gives debuffs with every one of her attacks. Second off, she offers a dot, so this means with dot teams, she also works on there as well. She can reproc those dots, which means she works with Black Swan really well. And then her talent will make the enemy receive more damage, and obviously with the more Eidolons here, the better off you're gonna be. Gallagher can offer a debuff from his ultimate move first of all, right? His ultimate move will do a debuff, and then the enhanced follow-up attack that comes directly after can also give you a debuff as well. Now, the only one caveat with Gallagher being on the team here is he's not a preservation unit. Now, he does offer a lot of debuffs. Now, I do believe if you swapped him out for one of the 5-star preservation units and run the Trends of Universal Market Light Cone, it could possibly get you some more debuffs for Acheron, meaning you can get her ult up that much quicker. But overall, I do like Gallagher on this team. He works completely fine as a sustained character. I think he's the best 4-star sustained character in the game, honestly, and he just works super well. Now, as far as Acheron is going to have her signature light cone here. You don't have to run it. It just runs a lot smoother with it. You can run Good Night Sleep well here, and let's be honest, guys, if you don't have her signature light cone, her damage is going to fall off a little bit because you don't have the extra free stats this one is giving you, but Good Night Sleep well can work pretty well too, just as long as you're getting the debuffs proc that you need proc. But let's hop into the reason why I chose these characters, right? First of all, Pela and Gwynaifin here can both use the Pearl's Light Cone, meaning they can get defense shred from their basic attacks, which means you inherently give more damage to Acheron. And on top of that, if you don't have these light cones, if you get Pela E4, you can use her skill, get a debuff off, and if you get Gwynaifin E1, you can use her basic attack and get a debuff off. So this all in culmination just becomes a really good team, an efficient team in actually getting debuffs on the enemies, especially if you only own 1 Pearls of Sweat Light Cone. You can throw that on your Pela, and then the whole team's doing debuffs, right? Now, I told you I'd talk about alternatives here, right? And the alternatives for this team is dot teams, right? You can swap off Pela, you can swap off Acheron. You put Sampo on the team with Black Swan or Kafka. You can put Luke on the team with Black Swan or Kafka, right? You just probably want to run and break, right? You can obviously swap off your Gwynaifin here for another 5-star character if you had it. There are upgrades for this team, but the alternative to this would be to run a dot team, because dot team honestly just transcends just about every single game mode. Dot is just super good, and I love just how dot works. Now, I'm not going to be going into the builds of all these characters today. I'll show you now what builds I currently have on every single one of these characters. If you want a full in-depth build guide, I probably have one on the channel, or I might be coming out with one soon. So make sure you hit that subscribe button now, because we're about to get into the second best free-to-play team now. Now, our second best free-to-play team here is going to be a Quantum team. We're not using Silverwolf here, so it's not Mono Quantum, But like I said before, this is an upgradable team, so you could run Silver Wolf on here if you wanted to make it more spicy, right? If you actually own a Silver Wolf. But guys, I know probably a lot of newer players don't have Silver Wolf, so we're just going to be sticking with what we have here. Our one signature 5-star character on this team is going to be Sparkle, but the one that steals the show here is actually going to be QQ. Now, the reason I have QQ here is because, first of all, she's an absolute damage menace, alright? As long as you get her E4. You do need her E4 before you can actually pop off with her, but she's also going to be having a signature light cone. I'm using Jinyu 1 signature light cone, but the reason I put Mono Quantum here with QQ, Erudition, as shitty as a class it might be, it actually has so many great options as far as light cones you can use for their DPS. First of all, the new Herder Shop light cone can be used. Secondly, you can use the free-to-play MOC light cone, which offers so much crit damage bonus. It's not as good as Jingu 1 signature light cone, but it does offer you a lot of crit damage, especially if you're a QQ. That's an absolutely great option for your QQ to use on this team. Obviously, we have Sparkle on this team as well. She advances action forward. She really helps the playstyle of QQ because she just consumes so many skill points. And this actually allows you to much more smoothly run the team because you don't have to really worry about skill points as much because you just compensate so much with Sparkle. You don't need E6 QQ at all for this team, but if you were to replace Sparkle with a Bronya, which is a viable solution, then you would have to probably have her E6 to make this team viable. Now let's talk about Sparkle, right? Because she is the one character on this team that is the signature 5-star, right? Now, with Sparkle, we were just running Dance, Dance, Dance. I'm just advancing the action of everyone in the team for what I'm using her ultimate. That's all that I need her for. That's all that I use her for. We're also using Ting Yun here. Ting Yun will be here to generate more energy and damage percent bonus for QQ. Now, QQ, why do you need energy percent for her? Because her ultimate move, right? What you can do here is you can actually draw a few tiles, which is the optimal playstyle. You draw a few tiles, then if she doesn't have her ultimate, maybe use Ting Yun ult on QQ to get her ult up. Use the ult before you actually use your attack after you have the tiles drawn, or let's say you used all of your skill points, you don't have one left, pop the ult, you get a huge damage bonus for that, and then you get a huge damage bonus for the attack after that. Now, I'm also using Dance, Dance, Dance on Ting Yun here as well, but that's not necessary at all. You can honestly use whatever light cone you want to use here. It doesn't really matter too much. You're going to see very little damage increase for whatever light cone you use here. Unless you use a 5-star signature light cone here, then you might see some bigger gains here. Now, as far as our healer goes, Lynx. Now, the reason I have Lynx here is just because we get the extra bonus from Sparkle on the team here, right? Now, obviously, Lynx can be replaced with Miss Fuchuan if you pulled her last patch, right? That would be an absolutely great option to replace here. You could go with Gallagher as well. I do think Gallagher is a better sustain than her, but you are going to be losing out on a little bit of damage bonus from Sparkle here, which I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's okay. You're losing about 15% attack bonus, which it's okay. You could probably get away with losing that and have a good team still. But really, guys, this team is going to pop off against high levels of MOC, especially with QQ's E4, which used to be called Arataki. It's called something completely different now. But this allows her to get a follow-up attack, which can do absolutely massive damage and carry you through really any event in the game. This works for Apocalyptic Shadow. This can kind of work for Pure Fiction. No, I probably wouldn't run this for Pure Fiction in my honest opinion, but it'll also work for MOC as well, so this team can cover you for 2 different game modes if the enemy is weak to Quantum. Now, when I state this, this means that Ting Yun can be replaced on this team with a Silver Wolf if you have them to really change the weakness up and give QQ the extra advantage here as well. Now, Jade in the future will probably be a decent match for QQ considering QQ has AoE attacks. Jade plays off of AoE attacks. You could maybe put Jade on the team here as well, and it might supplement the damage some for Miss QQ if you're facing a Quantum weak enemy, like I said before. And the one final note I want to make on this team is pretty easy to build. QQ's build can be kind of rough if you don't have the right light cones and the right stats. You do need a lot of crit rate stats. She does not give herself a lot of crit rate in her kit, so you're going to be wanting to give herself some type of crit rate. Probably run a crit rate body on her, run a full Quantum set, you're going to be absolutely good to go. But like I said, build guides for most of these characters are on the channel. But now let's hop into what I believe to be the best free-to-play team in the game right now as we speak, just because it has so many options. And that is going to be a free-to-play break team. Yes, you heard me, guys. The reason I think this team is the best is because, first of all, it has a lot of versatility on who you can run for the DPS. My favorite version of the free-to-play break team is actually Luca, Ruan Mei, Harmony MC, and Gallagher, right? Obviously, you're going to be getting Harmony MC for absolutely free just by playing the game. Gallagher, obviously free to play sustain. Luca, free-to-play DPS, and then finally Ruan Mei, which is on the current banner as we speak as of releasing this video, but she might be gone by the time you're gone. So I will be mentioning other alternatives here you can run if you don't have Ruan Mei on this team, but let's just go ahead and stick with this team for now. The reason why I like this team the best is because Luca Bobuka, baby. Oh, you kind of need E6 here to make it really pop off with Luca just because of how much damage he can do with his bleed reprocs and super break damage. I was hitting over 400,000 damage with Luca in Mach 12. I actually beat this Mach 12 with Luca. That's just a testament to how strong Luca really is, right? Gallagher obviously offering the extra damage to broken enemies or to break damage on enemies, which gives it a huge multiplier for Mr. Luca Bobuka himself. Now, Ruan Mei here in the team, she obviously is our signature 5-star character. Why? She increases break efficiency. She gives you break effect, really everything that break effect actually needs to really pop off and do its own thing, right? Also, one thing I should note in this team is using just about every single free-to-play light cone that you can use. Harmony MC is using Memories of the Past, which gives you increased break effect and extra energy regen. That just kind of helps her do extra damage. You could run another Meshing Cogs here. My Ruan Mei's on Meshing Cogs. My Gallagher's on his free-to-play Abundance Light Cone as well. And Luca's on the free-to-play Solitary Healing, which gives extra break effect here. Now, like I said, I like this version the best, but it's not the only version you can run. You can swap Luca on this team for literally any, like, break-efficient character, right? Tampo can work here as well for a win DPS. Zhuai can work on this team tremendously as well. That's a quantum DPS right there. Hell, you could even run Misa on this team. Hopefully I have a build guide out in him in a couple days because I do think Super Break really brings out a lot in him. He can just do so much damage on Super Break teams. It is absolutely insane. But yes, you can just use so many break efficient characters on this team and it just absolutely pops off just because of how broken Super Break is. Now, what happens when the enemy can't be broken? Yeah, you're fucked, buddy. You're screwed. Dunzo. Now let's talk a little bit about the Eidolons on this team, right? Harmony MC, you get Eidolons completely for free. Luca, like I said, need E6. Ruan Mei, E0 is fine, and then Gallagher is going to be whatever Eidolon you can get him to. Preferably E2 is going to be his best, but realistically, I would aim for E4 if you can get him E4 just because it boosts his ultimate effect by 1 turn, which means the enemy is going to be taking more break damage for a longer amount of time, okay? That's why I recommend that. Now, like I said, replacements for Ruan Mei here. You can replace her for Asta, honestly. Asta will give a speed and attack bonus to the team. The extra attack here can really help the amount of break effect that you're actually doing here. It also helps his bleed as well because bleed does scale off of his attack percentage. The more attack percentage you give Luca will obviously make him do more bleed damage against the enemies when you're using his skill move. And then I guess you could run Robin here as well. Robin could technically work here because she does give an attack bonus and she can advance everyone's action to the forward. If you're running Harmony MC is an absolute must on this team. Harmony MC is literally going to be giving you 90% of the damage of this team. Taking Ruan Mei off the team, you lose quite a bit of damage, I'm not going to lie. But overall, this team is just a god-slapping team. Let's talk about other replacements, though. Obviously, you can replace Luca here for Miss Firefly if you have her. She's going to absolutely pop off as well. Now, if there's a team that I didn't mention in this video that you think is a great free-to-play team, leave it in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you guys think are good free-to-play teams. If it's a shit team, then I'm going to say it's a shit team. Just an FYI on that. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Follow-up's not in this video because follow-up is super pay to win, I feel like. Also, I could have brought up the Herta team, but the Herta just really only works for Pure Fiction. I don't see her being used in any other game mode. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Tell me what you like about it. Did you like this video? Did you not like it? Leave a like on the video if you did, please. And maybe if you've made it to this point, drop a subscribe if you haven't already. I would really, really appreciate it. I swear to God, if you do, I might just suck your